Chapter 64. One-Eyed Magic Wolf. To be honest, other than the emergence of Mo Fan's pure and manly heroic spirit, he was very puzzled over this trembling thing happening again. It already happened once in the Minwen Girls' Middle's cafeteria. How come, not long after, another trembling emerged in a different part of Bo City? Was it really another colossal-eyed ape rat? It was reported that after eliminating the colossal-eyed ape rat, the other areas around Minwen Girls' Middle School also had slight trembles. The police hadn't found the reason behind it, and the school had ensured the campus safety, so school began as planned. My grandmother lives here, and the trembling area is over there. Joman pointed at an old house, and then pointed toward a large construction site with old houses that had already been partially demolished. Due to being unpaid, the construction team had withdrawn from the site for a while now. The entire abolished district could be described as desolate and uninhabited. When night fell, the distant splendid city lights were not able to illuminate this place. Black clouds shrouded the night sky. The great city officer Mo Fan was currently being quite daring. With a nimble leap, he crossed the temporary construction walls, and after he elegantly landed, he discovered Joman walking in from the little gate to the side. The atmosphere immediately turned incredibly awkward. Cough, so what time does it usually start trembling? Mo Fan began to ask. During the evening, no specific time. Usually, Joman would appear like a successful career woman. However, after coming to this abandoned construction site, she couldn't help but stand closer to Mo Fan. Mo Fan walked forward a few steps, and then took something like a fragrant bag from his pocket. He untied the fragrant bag. Inside it was sparkling and translucent dust. As Mo Fan blew the dust, it immediately scattered through the air, before it slowly sprinkled all over the construction site. This is beast-seeking dust? As expected of the honor student Joman, she could tell what it was from a single glance. Yeah, Mo Fan nodded his head. Beast-seeking powder was a must for the city officers when hunting beasts on a dark and windy night. How come you brought this kind of thing along? Do you really think there's a magical beast here? Joman asked, surprised. What student would normally bring this along with them? Moreover, this is Bo City. It's not like they're in the desolate countryside. Lady, you need to trust in experts. Just look yourself. Mo Fan pointed at the sparkling, translucent dust that was sprinkled on the floor. The dust he'd sprinkled had gathered about 10 meters away from the two, and the translucent dust particles looked as though they were glued to the floor, forming an outline there. This outline looked like a footprint. As Joman saw this, she was completely dumbstruck. Heavens, Bo City really had magical beasts? The odor of a magical beast was normally really hard to catch a whiff of, especially the ones that had already left the scene. The specialty of the beast-seeking dust was that it was extremely sensitive to a magical beast's odor. If a magical beast left behind a footprint 10 days ago, the beast-seeking dust would still be able to track it. What do we do? Joman was so scared that her face turned pale. Normally in school, she wouldn't question what the teachers said, and she would think the city is the safest place. Who would have thought that there really were footprints of magical beasts? The beast-seeking dust didn't lie. I'll take a look at the shape of the footprints. Mo Fan was brave, so he directly walked over. We should hurry and contact the city hunter team. Joman couldn't help but feel a chill. Mo Fan was completely speechless. I am a genuine officer from the city hunter team. Contact them, my ass. Besides, it's not like the city hunter team has a lot of time. If there wasn't any concrete evidence, then they wouldn't dispatch the team. The footprint outline emerging from the beast-seeking dust could only count as a suspicion, and not ironclad evidence. After all, a summoning mage taking a stroll here was a possibility, too. This footprint doesn't seem like it belongs to a colossal-eyed ape rat. Mo Fan creased his eyebrows. Mo Fan, we should leave. Joman was a bit scared. Mo Fan, however, wanted to investigate this to the end, so he continued to walk toward the inside of the construction site. Joman carefully followed Mo Fan. It seems like he is hiding in that unfinished mall. Mo Fan pointed down the road to the building in the front. This building looked like it was supposed to be a shopping center. The area of the floor was gigantic, and there were piles of cement bags, tools, and waste materials everywhere. The footprint shown from the beast-seeking dust ended at this unfinished shopping center. If there really was something living here, then it'd definitely be living here as it terrorized the people. This abandoned construction site had been here for 2 months, so it was the most perfect spot for hiding. Mo Fan, Joman's voice suddenly turned incredibly stiff. She used an extremely strange way to warn Mo Fan. Mo Fan immediately looked towards the place Joman was gazing at. Through the brick wall in the front, the place that was supposed to be the first floor had a wiggling black shadow. It was a creature with very sturdy lower limbs. Just standing there, its head was almost hitting the ceiling of the second floor. Its physique resembled that of a spirit wolf. The main difference was that it did not stand with 4 limbs. It stood with 2 legs like a werewolf. The biggest difference was this thing's head. The gigantic wolf-shaped head had 1 single eye. It looked particularly terrifying beneath the night sky. It's an one-eyed magic wolf. Joman almost yelled out. An one-eyed magic wolf. This was a savage magical beast that was mentioned several times by their teachers in magical beast class. It was different from a creature like colossal-eyed ape rat that hid in the corner. The one-eyed magic wolf mostly dwelt in the mountains. It had an innate hostility against humans, and it really liked eating humans. It was greedy, savage, and enjoyed massacre. They covetously eyed the humans who tended to live away from the human centers of civilization. Shit, this kind of one-eyed magic wolf appeared so close to the city area. Even if there are people who care, they won't be able to anymore. After Mo Fan saw this scene, his heart also began to tremble. Not too long ago, he was the same as Joman, someone who thought the city was extremely safe. Who would have thought that this would be the second magical beast he had encountered in Bo City? The colossal-eyed ape rat appearing in the city wouldn't be too strange. That kind of creature already lived amongst the human sewers and graveyards. However, how could one explain the savage one-eyed magic wolf appearing in this kind of place? What is it doing? Joman was so scared that her face had gone white. Eating midnight snacks, Mo Fan replied. Joman carefully looked over before she almost fainted. This one-eyed magic wolf was chewing. In the shadowy light, Joman saw a chewed-off arm. Heavens, that was a human's arm. Mo Fan, that scoundrel, how could he playfully say that the monster was eating its midnight snack? It was eating people. It really was eating people. Chapter 65. Brother Wolf. We came in peace, we leave in peace. This place has many vagrants living here. They wouldn't be integrated into the population statistics recorded by the police. This one-eyed magic wolf is so sly. It hides in the abolished construction site and then uses those wanderers that no one takes notice of as food. If I hadn't found this, then who knows how many people would have become its rations, Mo Fan coldly snorted. Joman was already scared to the point where she couldn't talk. Originally, she had come here with the attitude of finding the source of the problem, but she didn't expect to encounter a magical beast that ate people. Even if Bo City had nearly 1 million people, there were people dying every day. That, however, did not mean that the living people were being eaten by a magical beast that hid in a place like this. Dreadful. This whole thing was too dreadful. Speaking of which, Joman, don't you feel like this one-eyed magic wolf is different from the ones our teacher has described? Mo Fan commented as he looked at the dreadful animal from afar. How could Joman possibly have the mood to think about this question? At the moment, she was thinking about how to escape this construction site without being discovered, and then immediately notifying the Hunters Union of this scary information. Its physique is at least twice as big as the one our teacher described. This is not your common one-eyed magic wolf, Mo Fan continued. Joman almost went crazy. Let's think of a way to escape this place first, all right? How can Mo Fan's courage be at this level? Mo Fan himself very quickly realized that Joman was only an arrogant girl in school. When faced with a horror scene such as this, she lost her intent to investigate. You can leave this place first and call the City Hunter Team's hotline. While you're at it, have the police move the residents and wanderers of this area away, Mo Fan said to Joman. What about you? Joman asked. I'll stay here and watch over it, Mo Fan replied. Joman looked at Mo Fan with a gaze that seemed as though she had seen a monster. They were both third-year high school students, but why doesn't this guy have any reaction after seeing this scene? Normal people would be so scared that they'd pee their pants. After carefully thinking about it, Joman suddenly realized that this abnormal Mo Fan had killed a spirit wolf once before. It seems like magical beasts don't bring out too much fear in him. A freak, he's a freak. I already notified them, Joman whispered, somewhat proud of herself for taking the initiative. Mo Fan was confused as he asked without thinking it over, "How did you notify?" "Oh, shit!" Within a heartbeat, Mo Fan realized the trouble he was in. HNNG. Inside the not-so-distant building, the one-eyed magic wolf who was busy having its meal slowly turned its head around. The lantern-like eye locked onto the location Joman and Mo Fan were at. In a split second, the atmosphere froze. Despite hiding beneath a brick wall, Mo Fan and Joman could still feel the shivering killing intent released from the savage one-eyed magic wolf. An evening wind came through, carrying a dense smell of blood as it blew right into the faces of Mo Fan and Joman. Joman was completely dumbstruck. She never thought that the one-eyed magic wolf would suddenly discover their whereabouts. As her gaze met that single eye, it was as though her entire being was dropped into a dreadful abyss. Her body was unable to move. "Did your mom not teach you that magical beasts have the ability to sense mobile signals?" Mo Fan grabbed Joman, and with lightning speed, he dashed toward the outside of the construction site. The creatures in this world had one thing that was out of the norm, which was their ability to sense the signals of magical equipment. So even if you were to send a help text to the city hunter team with your phone sounds off, it'd be no different than sending your phone GPS location to the magical beast's brain, exposing you instantly. Grrr. The one-eyed magic wolf also realized that its whereabouts were exposed. It readied its body like a bow, and then it became like a coyote who found food as it flew toward Mo Fan and Joman, its speed extremely frightening. Fortunately, Mo Fan and Joman were a good distance away from this thing, or else the two of them would have instantly turned into the one-eyed magic wolf's midnight snack. Mo Fan ran extremely fast. He was running as he was connecting his star path. This technique was something he had learned from the few times he had responded to a call with the city hunter team. If a magician stood in his original spot connecting his star path like a retard, the magical beast could just wantonly throw something at your forehead, and you would lose your life on the spot. Fire burst, burning bones. With one hand, he held Joman's wrist as he ran. On the other hand, he coagulated a boiling fireball. As he jumped over the piles of cement bags in front of him, the fireball in his hands was simultaneously thrown toward the one-eyed magic wolf that was charging them. Phew! The swirling speed of the fire burst, burning bones was extremely fast. In an instant, it ignited the pile of scrap wood. Due to the high temperature, the one-eyed magic wolf didn't dare to charge through it. Mo Fan's fire burst naturally wasn't thrown at the one-eyed magic wolf. The nimbleness of one-eyed magic wolf was at the same level as the colossal-eyed ape rat. Its sturdy four limbs allowed it to vigorously jump over the ruins while Mo Fan's skill with his spells hadn't reached a level where he would be able to accurately hit the one-eyed magic wolf. The objective of the burning bones flames was simple: to form a firewall to cut off the one-eyed magic wolf's attack route. Groar. However, the one-eyed magic wolf's agility had far exceeded Mo Fan's imagination. The one-eyed magic wolf's back legs ferociously stomped the ground, and it suddenly jumped up. It had actually directly jumped over the raging burning bones flames. Boom! The one-eyed magic wolf landed heavily, raising a cloud of dust. Its eye once again locked onto the escaping Mo Fan and Joman. The one-eyed magic wolf's back legs stamped ferociously, its body lowered and then became like a charging bullet as it charged after them. The construction wood, sand piles, and handcarts in the way were all sent flying to the sides. Mo Fan turned his head around, and was unable to stop himself from cursing. This one-eyed magic wolf really was abnormal. Let's not even talk about its speed. Its body was actually so sturdy. If he were to get hit by the one-eyed magic wolf like this, then Mo Fan would lose his life. It was probably much stronger than any of the other magical beasts that he had encountered before. Fortunately, Joman and I were a bit far from it before. We'll be exiting the construction site soon. We should be safer once we're outside. Boom! 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 The temporary outer walls of the construction site were like foam, directly smashed into pieces by one-eyed magic wolf's body. When Mo Fan and Joman, who had just made it to the old residence area, turned their heads around and realized that the one-eyed magic wolf was still chasing them, their entire beings turned completely dumbstruck. Freaking one-eyed magic wolf, this daddy has already entered his pagoda, yet you still want to be that noisy? Before, Mo Fan had thought that this one-eyed magic wolf had some intelligence, because it was hiding in a construction site no one was at while it ate vagrants. Thus, He deduced that the one-eyed magic wolf would not chase them all the way to the old residence street. If it was discovered by people, it would become the objective of a manhunt. Who would have thought that the one-eyed magic wolf was actually that stupid? It directly chased them out of the construction site. Brother Wolf, attacking in the broad daylight would not give you anyone to eat, so you can go and head home. Although it is currently evening and the old residence street doesn't have many people around, there will still be someone who will see this and report this. Isn't it better if we all were to just come and leave in peace today, split up after we've crossed this corner, and none of us will turn our head around? Shit, you're still chasing? If you're still chasing, then don't blame me for being impolite.